But hey, I am Robert Beal, and you are watching an episode of the Bealcast shot here live in classic cigar, classic blend cigars. I'm sorry, I just associate it with coffee because that's how I got connected with Will, and so we're here tonight. And very fortunate to be here tonight because it's like the coolest vibe. And I've got two of my favorite people, but I suffer from like recency bias all the time. So the next people that sit down will be my favorite people as well. So full disclosure. So I have got Reagan Straayer, realtor here at Team Jay-Z at Keller Williams. And then I have Scott Carroll, also a realtor.
Yeah.
So, like, if you guys have beef or something, I appreciate you guys setting
Yeah,
aside.
why didn't you accept that last contract?
Yeah.
Man.
And so I've got Scott Carroll with Vanoy Real Estate, and yeah, thanks for coming out and being part of this. What do you think?
This is awesome. Awesome setup. Couldn't ask for a better spot. Thank you to William for being just so accommodating. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And so, why are we here? Why are the three of us here? Like, there's a lot of different existential things that we can talk about, but from like my point of view, I met both of you the way that I meet just about and have met just about everybody that I know in real estate by just going into an open house and just talking. Mm-hmm. And so, Reagan, how much do you love doing open houses?
Actually, it's my favorite way to meet people. And that's why I try to do them every weekend.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't need to be a serious response, but like Scott, do you enjoy doing like the open house? Is that
it's a love and a hate because you there's an opportunity there when you're like, this is exactly how you and I met, which is so cool. We have a fun story to tell.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely some motivations behind both sides, especially with just our market now is so different that people just want to come in and look at houses. So you want to be respectful of that. But at the end of the day, we're also trying to do our best to help our sellers or other sellers sell the house and procure people that are willing to buy it. So.
Yeah. But for me, like fundamentally what I've learned is it's just our business. And I do loans, I'm on the other end of it, is really just about literally just connecting with people all of the time. And so when I started doing loans the way that I do it, I the whole idea was this guy's going to go out, start meeting people, wining and dining them, get a relationship, and then they're going to refer business. But I don't know anybody, and so initially it's like a list of like cold calls, which I did that for like 15 minutes. And then I was like, wait a second, like this sucks. But then it was like, I know where I can have a meeting with a realtor right now. And so, I mean, how obnoxious was it of me to have shown up in your open house where you're trying to do business and basically like kind of like, hitting on you effectively, each of you?
I'll go ahead and start. I'll say, it was not a problem at all. And in fact, I found it very admirable because you are still to this day the only lender that actually did that and does that I've heard of. So, I thought he's obviously got hustle and drive. And so that's just continued, to, have that effect. And that's why we do business together.
I appreciate it, but you do not have to make me sound like that.
No, she's right. She's right.
It's true. Yeah.
Because I respected just like you brought up the connectivity and just connecting. That's ultimately what stood out, from me when we first met, because you came into the house and just wanted to introduce yourself and get to know who I was. And we connected and had a good conversation and we respected each other's, just hustle and grind. To just do what you were doing, like, because it does take a certain special person. And when you shared that story, I think when we first met, it just about being in the car business and how you how you kind of grinded in that business to be where you are now.
Yeah, so I think that real estate in an open house. So we would work at the auto show every year at Bartle Hall. And there's just no way I'm going to keep my cigars lit through this whole process.
We just got to be ripping it more, I think.
In some ways, it's just really a prop to build a lore around Beal.
So mysterious.
And so,
Beal.
But you have we would have the car show, and I remember this manager of mine was like, "Are you here for the show or are you here for the sale?" And it's like, "Well, I'm here for the show." And he's like, "Are you here for the show or are you here for the sale?" Basically, like, treat this like this is an opportunity.
Right.
And I got out there and I sold 2 cars off, like Volvos off, like basically they had to come back the next week to get them. But I was like, okay, yeah, like let's like make a deal. And so you just, when I went into your open house, good setup, great. I was like, so I just thought you were the best looking guy I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, this is like Captain America. And I was like, that's kind of cool, but you just carried yourself. And I didn't know this, but I could just, the way you carried yourself, I knew that you had been an athlete at some point. And there was a couple that was getting ready to leave, and you'd ask them for their information, and they're like, no, thank you. And you stopped them and you said, hey folks, you spent, 30 minutes in these people's home. The least you can do is that. And I think that in a lot of sales, the fact that people don't ever sort of like kind of stand firm in their process, that is like a good process that provides value, and they compromise, they miss opportunities. And sometimes you have to and so I was really impressed by that. Then I overheard that you were you'd play baseball, and then I was sort of like, everybody in sales. Now maybe this is just men. I mean, but most guys that I know in sales think about themselves as if they're athletes. Like they think about it as it's an active competition that, and so when you're in sales long enough, you actually start to see why that's such a good analogy, because it's all process driven. And so, where we started with that was, just the fact that you, he's got a.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be an ordeal.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Thing. It looks like a doorstop.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm sure it's really basic. Yeah.
Whoa.
So what I was saying is you just like push back, and I kind of respected your game, because I think sometimes you need to do that. And then, with Reagan, I meet Reagan, and, much younger than me. And, there's a different dynamic that creates, because, I would think in some ways age could be a challenge in that business. I mean, I know when I was selling Volvos at 30, I was the young guy when everybody was like 50, but I would think that there's some challenges there that you could speak to where you'd have to hold firm as well.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely a challenge. I mean, full transparency, I've had clients who I felt like I did a really kick-ass job for, and in the end, they chose to no longer work with me because they wanted someone who was older than them or their same age, and that was pretty much their only reason for saying,
right, which is bullshit.
But it's true, and I can see both sides. So I think it's just a matter of talking up your experience and what I have done in my few years of business and in young age too.
Well, when did you get in?
June of 2022.
Scott, nice. When did you get in?
It was May of 2020.
Yeah. And so I think that like that 2022 window, I mean, I got 22. I feel like in some ways, maybe Scott's a junior, but like, we're like kind of sophomores in the real estate class. And so there's not that much like field spread from like experience. And so, Scott, I mean, when you made that transition, from athletics into real estate, did you feel like there were certain kind of challenges that were presented to you that maybe had your background been different, wouldn't have been the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, like Reagan can speak to it too, but like when you're getting started in this business, you kind of are just, thrown out there to the wolves and just, or said, hey, go after it and just talk to people, But, at the end of the day, like I think what I had to fall back on was just work ethic and honestly, like just passion and drive. And I think that's what can separate a lot of people. And when you keep kind of those, like we were saying, those lines in the sand, or just kind of just some principles that you can fall back on and continue to do those, and that'll eventually, pay off for you. But it's scary when you first start, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so yours, like Reagan's like origin story in real estate. Like you just decided one day you were going to get into real estate, right?
I mean, yeah, pretty much, without getting into too much of my personal life. I was hustling at a job at a warehouse, and I knew that I didn't have the funds for college. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had to get creative and was looking into trades for a while. And I just I wanted to do something more than the job I was at, something that was really challenging, that I didn't need a degree for. And so real estate was something that kept coming up. And I had some family and friends tell me that they could see me down that career path. So I just saved up money and did a lot of overtime and then just quit my job.
Yeah, so that's the thing that's crazy.
Grew up the deuces, right?
Yeah, I didn't even stay at the job while I was in school, which looking back now was a bad idea. But in hindsight, it kind of put my butt in gear because my money was dwindling very fast.
Well, you were motivated. That's a big piece right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think that's just a really because so how old were you when you got your license?
21.
Wow.
It's
That's awesome.
I mean, I have experience with people even, I was actually talking about Will because his nephew was a kid that worked for me at the car business, in the car business. And he just had it. He just had that peace, that confidence and it's sort of like you just have that extra challenge, like degree of difficulty because it's packaged in what people perceive, you're younger, you don't have the same experience, but like no matter where you go, in real estate, the experience that you have, it doesn't really matter if you're with the right team, right? Because you're going to have like a support system there. And so when for you, did you do anything between like baseball and real estate?
Yes. So my last year in baseball was 2018. I did the Mexico route to finish my last year.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my last year playing baseball. Kenny Powers, everyone loves to bring that up. If you're not an Eastbound and Down fan, go watch Eastbound and Down.
Listen. Fundamentals are the crutches of the talent. I love it.
It's so good. But yeah, that was my last year. And then 2019, was involved in baseball and giving lessons, and I was still around the game. But it was too close to home. Like when I lost baseball and I removed myself from it, it definitely was a grieving period. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is no longer a part of my life. I'd done ever since I was 9 years old. Yeah. And so when I was done playing, it definitely took a little bit of just maturing as a person, just understanding what I wanted to do. And then after one full year, I realized that, all right, enough grieving and enough feeling sorry for yourself. So I got started in 2020, and so it's been a fun ride.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing about being an athlete is that just listening to you talk about it, because at no point was I like, man, I got to give up my being a car dealer dream.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that is, there is a certain level of heartache that just is, I was like ready to get out of my prior employment, but I get it.
Yeah. Because there's a last time you ever get to do it. So it's like, it was tough, but it was part of it. And I'm not the last person to ever stop playing, but it just, for me personally, what I went through was it was a grieving period for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you made the decision to get into real estate, did you find that like that filled a little bit of some of the stuff that you were missing in terms of the it's competitive bit? I mean, we can all succeed collaboratively, but there's a scoreboard.
For sure. I think, but for me, I'm an extrovert. I get my energy from other people. So this is something that is naturally, I was a communications major in college. So this is naturally something that I wanted to pursue for just to continue to have that energy source and be around people, to talk, to be a problem solver. Yeah. And that's what I enjoy about it. And so it each day presents its own, unique set of.
Reagan, do you enjoy being around people? I mean, going from the warehouse to real estate, that's a pretty dramatic transition there.
Oh boy. So
it depends on the people.
Right. Yeah. So before the warehouse, I was retail straight out of high school, and I was tired of being treated the way I was being treated. So that really drove me to want to just put in my headphones, work, nobody talk to me. And I had that. Right? Yes. Yeah. And I had that for a while. But it does get lonely. And honestly, just truth, I'm more of an introvert, but I think that this job has pushed me out of my comfort zone beyond comprehension, and it's made me grow so much as a person to where you would never think that I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty and why I love it so much, is that every day is a challenge for me. So I just try to be myself.
So I was having a conversation. So both of you have met my wife, Jessica.
Love her.
And so, and she has, both of you have had her food too. You were at
Yeah.
my birthday party. You came over for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Wow, you got to have
So,
Thanksgiving at his house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, there,
I'm at Thanksgiving.
I was going to say, yeah, we might need to
There are-
reevaluate this whole...
there
the
are
friendship.
plenty of realtors who are not going to do business with me because they don't like me. I get that.
Ooh, Robert, you
But-
shouldn't have said that.
But if I can get my
That's
wife
done.
involved,
Yeah.
if I can get my wife involved, I feel like I can win a lot of hearts and minds. But so we were talking this morning because so she works on the weekends as a server First Watch, and it's like she has so many other kind of like hustles and things she's working that she'd be more productive if she didn't have that. And I'm like, why, it's up to you. Why do you want to do it? And for her, she is like, you got to push her out. She's an introvert, which probably makes sense. Otherwise we drive each other
Right,
nuts.
yeah.
but she wants that forced engagement sort of with people. But it's so interesting because I would never have thought of you. And I've spent a decent amount of time with you. I would never have ever thought of you as an introvert. But, we put on what we need to put on to get through whatever it is we're doing.
Maybe not so much anymore. Like I said, the job has really changed me. So
Right.
I don't know what I am anymore, but
No, you're just growing. You're just you're so young. You're still growing through the business. We
I mean,
all are.
I have no idea what I
Yeah.
am. Who I am.
what are you? Yeah, I'll probably never know. But that I identify as an introvert for sure.
Yeah.
That's where my heart is.
No, I couldn't. Man, I was working at MBKC and I was doing online lending, and so 50 states, and I was busy, and it was super process driven in the sense that like you just make the calls,
Yeah.
and I could work crazy hours and take all the weeds, and I had success there, but it just felt super soulless because I was just basically in my basement all the time, and I would do whole transactions.
You don't belong in a basement. Never.
No. And I had a buddy of mine, Jared Coates. I name drop everybody, and he was like, "Go work in a coffee shop or something," and I did, and I just started realizing it's the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Fountain. I did like the weeds there for a while, but as I started to realize I could go into open houses, it was like weekends were just like game days. I'd like get up, I'd like pack my little bag, which I've got a new version of my bag actually
Do
coming.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It involves actual cookies, and I'm pretty excited about it. But I would go out, and it was like I was going to do my thing,
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll be waiting for those cookies.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't even know where we started with this, but like for me, it was I identified a process,
Right.
and it was something that like I was able to start kind of like working consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were talking about process, and I don't even know what the segue was, but it is a process driven business.
Absolutely.
And-
Why?
and-
It's funny you mentioned that because I'm currently reading Atomic Habits, and
Okay.
you don't rise to the level of your goals; you fall to the level of your processes. That's exactly what. So it's funny you say that because that's where my business is at as far as just like trying to grow as a person and learn more because this business is tough, but if you can have a consistent process, you're going to be a lot more successful and win more, which is what we all want to do. I think just having small wins.
So, I mean, Reagan, how process driven are you?
I mean, I guess what do you really mean by that? Like, do I schedule things?
I mean, do you
or?
have like, today's the day I do my follow up, or today's this is how, I don't know. It's really weird for me to look at realtors like in the same type of sales process the way you got for me.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that you need to do to be successful,
Right.
or the things that like you need to be aware of.
Yeah, I would say in the beginning, it's really important that you calendar everything that you need to do. Sorry. And stick to that so that you can try and have some semblance of consistency.
Yeah.
But I think after, a couple years in, you know what you need to do, and you just need to do it.
Yeah.
But I am. I still am because, you get with personal life and stuff, you get busy and you need
To kind of
process to
yeah.
remember, what happens when and what you need to do, because realtors are really project managers once you get under contract.
Right.
So you have to make sure you're on top of everyone and everything. So I would say yes, I have to be.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure to this point, like Reagan and I have, we've done a decent. She's my top realtor to this. I'm not putting any pressure on you, Scott. I'm just saying that. Like,
I got a lot to live up to.
But
I'm not even.
Maybe you'll get invited.
I was
to
gonna say now
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving's making sense. The ham, the turkey, the stuffing.
I don't even know if anybody knows what RESPA is, but anyway. So but from my experience with you, I mean, everything like flows. I mean, what if I got on here and was like not like said, yeah, there was that one deal that was kind of janky. Like, no, for real. Like, I think that so. I think the thing about it doesn't really matter what your age is. It doesn't matter what your process is. Mm-hmm. I think if you just fundamentally care about like the result and like the experience for the guest, and you're going to take ownership of it in a way that, the right way, Yeah. And so I don't know. When you talk about atomic habits, like I understand exactly what you mean by that. That all makes perfect sense.
It's kind of frightening me, to be honest with you.
But there's another end of it that you can kind of come out, and it's not about the specific habits. Mm-hmm. It's about what are just the things that I like doing naturally and would naturally be doing. And so for me in my business, I've sort of structured it in a way that I have a process, but it's like from 9 a.m., like from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's at Messenger on Monday, or it's at Rochester on Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I mean,
I think you're very good at controlled chaos, to be honest with you. Like that's a really, like you have your own system and process in your mind, and you're like, you can map out stuff to where like it wouldn't make sense to other people, but it's like, yeah, this is what I do. This is what makes sense to me. And I can go just nail it. I
think so. I mean, Danny and I've talked about me not talking about the car business so much, but I just can't do it. Like it's just so relevant to what we do in real estate, I think. And I think that, I was used to just deals coming at a very fast pace. Okay. So, at a Toyota store, if you don't do 25 deals on a Saturday, it's like, why
aren't we doing more deals?
And so each one of those transactions, to some extent, if I was personally involved, I was talking to somebody, I was having to talk through like scenarios. And after you work like, car deals for a year, there's really like 4 or 5 different scenarios. Mm-hmm. And so you're always problem solving. Yeah. And so, but real estate, the at-bats come in some ways so like I feel like I got this wealth of knowledge like really, really quickly because I was in that industry for so long. And here I get to real estate, and it's just the deals, like everything's so slow. And what I like about the two of you is I feel like when I'm talking to you about the transaction, you're talking like a sales manager at a dealership, like this is where we're at. Like, just give me the baby type of a thing. And we're always thinking about what's the best way to move this forward for our client. Like what's the easiest way? What's the right way, the ethical way? And so, I mean, I feel like you guys, the two of you are deal makers, and that's probably why you're sitting here like drinking like whiskey and stuff with me.
Oh yeah.
Deal maker club.
I love that. Well, no, we're just getting started with this, but thank you for introducing us and doing all this.
Did Danny say are we on time? You have a time limit?
No, I did. This is not.
Oh, okay.
I'm just speaking like thank you for bringing us in and doing all this. This is cool, man. Because I love what you're doing, and thank you for inviting us to do this, because it's not doesn't come around often. So just try to enjoy it.
And it fluffs our ego, right? It makes us feel I feel like a celebrity. I don't know about you, but
for sure. I mean, this is part of this is exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So here's something weird. I've been thinking about this.
Do you want this, by the way, to light more? Are you good? Okay. You're good.
I was thinking about this, and I was trying to decide if I had a pairing for an episode that it would be a good fit to have this conversation. And I've just decided I'm going to have this conversation with you.
Hell yeah.
All right. So do you guys?
I love this.
Do you like?
Never have I ever. Oh, sorry.
Put a finger down.
Reagan, do you get up and are you like, I am Reagan Straayer and I am going to work today?
No.
Or let me propose another option.
Okay. Sorry.
Or is it like soundtrack? Like, is it a spy thriller? Is it like a secret agent? Is it like an action film? Like, how do you portray your day and your endeavors like as you go through them?
Okay, I was just talking about this with my boyfriend,
Wow.
and it depends on what the activity is. So I realize that what helps me with cold calling is pretending I'm a robot. So hear me out,
No, that's
because I hate making calls. If
Okay.
I pretend that I'm just this system and it's my job, and I make X amount of calls for the big man, right? It helps me take me out of it, and it makes it easier. But everything else in my life and my job, they all intertwine, and it's like a romance movie, and I take everything so personal. And I'm just so like when I close with somebody, it's like, oh my gosh, I love you. Let's be friends forever. So I don't know if that answers your question, but there you go.
No, that's the type. Okay, so what about you, Scott?
no, I like that. That's to be that aware too right now. That's awesome. That to have that awareness. I think for me, so I guess to give you a peek behind the curtain, when I wake up, it's usually a 4.5-year-old sprawled across my neck and feet. So I'm trying to kick her out of bed.
Yeah. How's she getting there?
She comes in every night. We
4.5-year-old.
4.5-year-old.
I was like 4. I thought like 4 months in my head. I'm like,
No. 4.5-year-old.
Like you have
she
a
has her own
role
room,
there.
and then she'll come in at night and sleep with mom and dad, and sleep with us. But so I think every day is like I have to try and convince myself. Honestly, it's like hey, every day's a new day. You gotta like just get pumped up to just be positive. For number one, myself, my family, my kid.
Yeah.
But two, just to just have gratitude for the day and be able to move forward. And
Right, but do you have a soundtrack?
I wouldn't say a soundtrack. No, it's more about just trying to. I don't like a lot of music in the morning when I wake up. Do you guys?
It's like overstimulating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys like a lot of music?
I am like irritated. I don't have music right now. Like
Well,
it's
that,
like
that would be okay
like,
right now. I'm just saying, but like waking up, it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I need to.
Yeah.
I need to just.
You need coffee first.
Right.
and
There's
Yeah.
not a,
come alive. Yeah.
there's not a moment that there's not some sort of like music beat, like rhythm, some sort of thing, and
Yeah.
it's all like it's
But
like
you're a
I've,
musical
like,
guy. You
gamified-
played it. You played in a band.
Yeah,
Did
and
he
so
tell you that?
maybe
He probably already did.
Maybe, but like that's your answer. Like I'm not crazy about your answer. That is really good. But like
Who?
you're like
Whose
Scott's.
answer?
Yours
Oh.
is great. Like
Yeah,
you're talking
your
about like a
answer.
romance novel, and
Yeah.
I get that.
But
That's not just a girl
it's-
thing, right? It's not like do all girls just like go? Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
All right.
we're emotional creatures.
That's
and
the difference between men and women.
Yeah.
Can I say girls?
Yeah.
Women, Robert. We're
Can
women.
I say? It doesn't matter if I say girl or women. When I'm like, do they think their
I'm
life's
off-
a romance novel?
I'm
I don't
offended.
think that's the. I don't think it's.
But women romanticize life a little.
Yeah.
Oh man, I romanticize the shit out of like every moment.
And I will say
moment.
it's a disservice to me 9 times out of 10 because when shit does hit the fan, it sucks 10 times harder than if I was just totally stoic about everything.
Yeah, but I think, and I feel like we had a conversation about this once before. Like, if we didn't like feel it, in a transaction, like if we didn't feel the emotions of it, like especially if you're dealing, with your client and something is happening that is affecting them as well, you're not doing it. It's a disservice to your client. You should care about like the outcome of the transaction,
Right.
and not in just like the, hey, I got a commission thing, like all that stuff, but in the
Right.
way that we actually do. Like, you care, right, Scott?
Well, absolutely, 100%. But I think one of my struggles is, you think you touched on this in the beginning though, but it's like when you do such a good job, how do we communicate or quantify that success for them?
I mean, we've had closings, I think, where I've taken pictures. We've had closings where I haven't taken pictures. I'm always going to take the pictures of the cookies. I want people to know that my wife's giving, baking cookies for that stuff. But I mean, it's for some people it is just a transaction. Like it's just like dollar. It's no different than like scanning a barcode at like Target or whatever.
Right, like a 9 to 5.
But a lot of the transactions that we're involved with, it's like life or death for them. It's a huge thing. It's a big commitment, and so we ride that roller coaster with them, and that's a big part of the job.
I'm not saying I don't either. You guys think I'm a robot? What's going on here?
No, not at all.
No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I'm like, am I?
I don't have any emotions.
Unless.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that like we should feel like we should be on. I mean, we should be a calming influence on the transaction, but we certainly should like empathize with our clients and what's going on.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a bad client? You're like, I don't even care.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not going to say their names. Yeah, but
Well, it's hard
again,
to care about someone when they don't care about you at all, and
Exactly.
then they make it abundantly clear.
Yeah. When you care more than they do, that's not a good spot to be in. Like she's saying, like when they make it clear too, you're like, okay, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had it a lot when I was working on the internet, and it sucked. And I don't feel like I really deal with that much of it anymore. But also, if you are like going forward with like if your model is like cheap, like that's how you market and brand yourself, that's that's almost kind of like the thing that you're going to bring. I'm super. How are we doing on time? Because I want to. Holy cow! It always
Hell yeah.
okay. Cool. I'm just worried because we need to get Reagan to her. She's got a showing tonight. Okay.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna relax now and try to pick up where we were talking about.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, people we don't care about. Like I run into. It's not that we don't care about it, but I'll have. So I had some people over the weekend. I did a reel on it that had like a credit issue. And it's like, there's always a way to fix it. If you just put a strategy together or whatever. And and I laid it all out for her. Had a good conversation. She was excited. She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this." And I was like, "Look, how bad do you want to do this?" And she's like, "I want, it's going to be life changing for me and my children." And I was like, "Okay, well, if that's the attitude that you have, we're going to like figure that out."
Yeah.
I got a property under contract right now that closes at the end of the month, and it was a guy that 45 days ago could not qualify. I gave him the list of stuff to do. He did it, and I can't get the documentation. And he's like, "So can I just wait 30 days?" And he did, and like now he's like off,
So the motivation matched your motivation.
Yeah, because I was like, how can we help? How can we solve? And and sometimes you get these clients that they just like milk you for information, and then they don't actually like do anything with it, or they don't continue to. I don't know.
No, for sure.
I don't like to be transactional, but at the same time, it's like you have a need, and I can help. I can
problem solve.
I can help problem solve.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I think what you're saying though, dude, is the motivation was matching what you were trying to present and help them with. Because like you're saying, you're honestly invested in trying to get them to that next step and solve what they're looking to do.
Yeah.
And if their motivation matches, then that's when you're like really gung ho, like, okay, let's do this. I'll do whatever I can to. But it has to. Their level has to rise up too.
I had a conversation this morning with another realtor, Mike Niemeyer, friend of the podcast, and I do a podcast with him, and we were talking about some scenarios over the weekend that we were involved with, like some multiple offer or escalation clauses, and you look at how some people sort of missed out on the opportunity over a very small amount of what actually, really, you know what I mean? Like they kind of dug in, and you just wonder, like, for $15 more a month or something nominal, was it really worth it to kind of dig in? But I also think you have to kind of learn from experience.
Yeah.
I
would say to that, I think I would, what I try and lean back on is just what more questions could I have asked?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's just like, take the ownership. Cause like just trying to just take complete ownership of the process, saying I'm going to be accountable for everything, and if it doesn't work out, then what could I have done a little bit different? Like you're saying, just learn from it.
Well, we
and
do
what
it
other
every
questions?
day, right?
I know that. I think that's the biggest struggle. Is like, that's why I said my answer wasn't as good. But like waking up every day, it's like, okay, I know some battles are going to have to fought today, so it's just like getting prepared, like mentally and physically.
Yeah.
I think that you're realistic, and I like your answer because your answer is the level of professionalism that I strive to be at, because I'm at this point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm at this point right now where I wish that I could just be more like, get to it, put your emotions to the side, and just have that drive. But I think lately I've struggled with that, honestly.
Well, there's ebbs
I
and
have
flows,
to.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, but you're getting invited to Thanksgiving though, so I think you still got a little something on that I don't have yet. So
I feel so bad. You have to bring him to Thanksgiving.
What did you eat? Like, what did you have to eat? Danny didn't even get invited.
I'm pretty sure you were invited to Thanksgiving.
I feel like I remember you saying you invited a lot of people, and a lot of people couldn't make it for some reason.
Her family's not in Kansas City.
Oh wow.
You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
and so it just was like sort of.
Where do they
made
live?
sense.
Tiny violin. That's what this moment is.
What am I supposed to do? Like, I mean, like I'm like her granddad. Like, what do you mean you got nothing going on? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I did it out of a sense of obligation, not.
Right. Yeah, he felt bad for me.
But my wife has cooked for you.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's
my mom
great.
lives in Pennsylvania, and I'm an only child, and it's just my mom around. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, but I'm seeing her this Friday.
Nice.
And I
Yeah.
haven't seen her
Yeah.
since October.
She's coming in
So
town, or you're going out there?
she's coming in town.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I'm pretty sure she started following me on social media before you even did.
Yeah, I'm really
Which
bad
you
with that.
like, and so
Cue
yeah,
the
so
boo.
okay, this is a good thing. This is something we can talk about for a little bit because
Oh, gosh.
it's going
Get
by
ready
way
to hear him
faster.
scold me.
No, it's not scolding, but like I mean, part of our business is branding, right? And like
Yeah.
you know, so where is it easiest and most effective right now to brand and put your brand out there? It's social media, and neither of you guys like hardly do anything. Which
Oh, you don't do anything either?
Which
Well,
but I will say this: it works for you. Like you were successful. Both of you are successful. So
Right. See, we're both successful.
But you
so
guys
get
are
off our
having
backs.
meetings with your brokers and like your coaches, and they're all telling you to do this stuff. I'm like, what's with that?
well, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'd say to me, it is a tough thing mentally, hurdle, and then sometimes even emotionally, like with social media, because I tiptoe the line of just trying, like you're saying, being professional, but also creating value and making sure it's done the right way, and not just trying to flaunt myself out there and do it the wrong way. So that's why I'm applauding you, because like this venture you're on now, and I remember when we first got coffee and you talked about this and your vision for this, and it's cool to see it kind of play out and come to life, because this is definitely something really cool, and it provides value to people, and you get to connect people. So I'm envious in that way, because I would love to be able to do something like this, but at the same time, I struggle with it internally. It's my own stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Reagan?
What was the question?
Like, what's up? Like,
Why
you
don't
seem
you
to have an
post
aversion,
more?
Oh,
which is
yeah,
actually
yeah.
crazy because you are like Gen Z, right? Like, this is like what you.
I think
like,
so.
Yeah.
So
Okay, but,
you
and I will say this: you are exceptional. You are very unique for your age, wise beyond your years.
Thanks.
We've talked about that. Anyway,
Thank you.
Just a disclaimer, because I called you.
It's like a
girl
big brother,
earlier.
little sister thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
don't
what
even know if
that's
it's
what I
that.
get.
I think it's
more
maybe
like-
uncle,
Like
dad,
paternal,
type-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like
right
it.
on. Okay, sorry. So finish what,
no, you're
finish
good.
what you're gonna say.
So you and my mom are very similar in the sense that
We're
you
badasses.
you both will not get off my back about social media.
Oh really? Even your mom's on you about it?
Oh, my mom is like the queen of Facebook.
Oh really?
The queen, yeah.
Like neighborhood stuff?
I don't know actually, Mom. Are you the neighborhood queen? I don't know.
Does
But
she posts a lot.
yeah, I think so.
On Facebook?
I don't know. I don't get on. So
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
How
I'm
would
on
I know?
Instagram with her, but I don't see her, so maybe she's
But-
doing it on Facebook.
yeah. So I don't have a good answer for this. I know I need to do it. I know that it's great advertising and branding. I think that branding is a little bit hard when you're on a team and you have someone else's branding
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
point.
But second of all, I just hate social media.
Yeah, I
And I've
know.
told
See,
you this a
I-
million
There we
times,
go.
but
I like you more and more.
I just I don't like, because, okay, I've tried, and it's, you post something and the next thing you know, you've scrolled for like an hour of your life and it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I love social media, but I mean, for different reasons. So I will say, I would get out. I'd go into my open houses. I'd exchange information. I'd get into my car, and the first thing I would do would follow on Instagram, Facebook, whoever the realtor was. And I remember getting out into my car and being like, "Where?
Nowhere to be seen.
Where is this person?" Like I think
Where is
later
this
on that
person?
night, I had to like dig around and to like find it.
I think I remember you messaging
know,
me being like, do you have an Instagram? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's kind of dead.
And you were like, geez, dude, I just met you.
Right.
Yeah,
Stalker.
but I'm pretty sure I make a point of talking about Jessica like immediately. I want there to be no, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I want,
Yeah.
Going to an open house.
You don't give creep
it's-
vibes.
good.
You're good.
That's good.
I mean, I probably have a couple ex-wives that'll tell you otherwise, but yeah, no, that's something that I've always kind of worried about. But no, I thought it was interesting that neither of you were on. I wasn't so much surprised by Scott. I think I assumed that like you had like this like athlete like cachet thing, and you just had like deals like flying at you. I don't know why.
I wish, man. That I love that I have that aura, but I guess I wish I had that result.
Yeah. But then I also thought that's probably an assumption that people make, because whether you're an athlete or not, you're just people. But I want to stay focused on the social media thing. So because like I just think it's what happened to me. So I'm being told, hey, you got to be on social media. And I started seeing like the reels. I started seeing what people were doing, and I kind of did them. But I realized like everybody's saying the exact same thing.
Right.
The exact same thing. And I'm not saying that like it's not good information that needed to be said, but I just got really like, man, if I'm going to do this, I want to like do it. Everybody keeps telling me I'm the brand, right? People do business with you and the relationship, who you are, you know, and I feel like if given an opportunity, I do well with people, right? Mm-hmm. And so I just started kind of doing like the same, like, you know, like my coffee cups, just the different things I started doing. And it was just like, just posting what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And it's gotten traction. And so I guess the thing I would say is that like people, I mean, I get it.
Do you follow a lot of people?
I follow people, but honestly, I mostly like don't really look at, I mean, I mean, like if I'm like frustrated because I just had like a deal on wine or something like that, I'll go into my saved stories and just like watch like 10 minutes of my stories, and they'll give me like, each one of them is like a little music video that I produced that's like my emotions or is designed for somebody specific who I never, you know, it's like neurotic stuff. But I think
that's that romanticizing a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying people after a period of time kind of know who I am, like what I'm about. Mm-hmm. And I think that social media is unique, and it does give you the opportunity to do it. That doesn't mean none of us want to be influencers. We want people to like know that we can do the job. Like we're not just like doing all the aerial drone footage and all that type of stuff. We can go in and get the job done. And we want people to choose us on merit, on the fact that they chose us because of what we're capable of doing. But, you know, you got to catch some people's attention.
You got to blend them both. I would agree. I think you definitely have to blend them both. I think your brand and success have to merge together. It can't just be all just show and brand with no results to back it up, because you can see kind of through those people who are just trying to flaunt like stuff that they're not really doing, or teams that just have high numbers. But it's like, are you actually producing, or are you just trying to act like?
So are you like Scott Carroll? Like, do you know like what that brand is? Like, are you locked in? Like,
that's why I'm here today. I don't know.
This is a therapy session.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I take that answer, like, you're sincere, though.
Yeah. No, I really don't.
What about you, Reagan?
Learning every day and becoming more myself every day. And it's a challenge figuring out who that is, but it's equally as exciting. And I think that is honestly the biggest reason why I struggle with social media, is that I don't want to be just another Gen Z person that posts a lot, but I don't have the experience to back it up. And so my personal opinion is that I'd rather just meet people and be face to face and get to know them. And I feel like that's where I really shine the most. It's
totally
hard,
agree.
and it's hard to convey that through social media, right? I feel like we just need to be face to face.
I think it's the opposite. And the reason I say that, and I don't know if he's here yet or whatever, is Mike Miles sitting behind me, or is that Matt? Okay, so Mike Miles, one of the owners of my of Fountain, when I first started doing like kind of retail ending, which is, you know, what we do, meeting people, that type of stuff, I tried to do all of it, like networking, like the whole thing. Like all I knew was flood the zone, because that's going to help me grow. And he was like, you need to pull back on the networking, because it's not doing you any good. You need to continue to do your open houses. You need to continue to grow like your brand social media, although I don't know that that's how he said it, but it was like, and so that when you do the networking, you're already sort of in that room. And that's the thing about that. I think like Instagram, which is where I'm at most of the time. Instagram is it just it's just like when you're driving down the highway and you see Coke and you see Coke and you see Coke and you just people just starting to see Scott Carroll. And
I'm really curious. Have you gotten deals just straight from Instagram though?
So
like,
I
have people
have
reached out to
had,
you and said, "Hey, I saw this video."
So I have had people from my past in different industries that I've not had any conversations with, and I've put a reel out, and they have reached out to me to start a conversation that ended up being a closed transaction.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that's the ROI type stuff. Like what, I mean, I've messed around with paying for ads for a little bit, but most of the time I just put the same stuff out there. And like with this, I'm sitting down with you. You haven't, well, you don't. These aren't the guys to do it. Neither of them have. Well, Scott's got a network. Okay. So yeah, but like, I'm going to tag you in all this stuff, and it's just going to go out there, and the world's going to like see us. They're going to see me. They're going to see you. They're going to see us collaborating. And I feel like if I do it like in a tasteful way, that everybody wins.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's what we're kind of the same frame we're talking about is we just want to make sure we're doing it right.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's a crutch that we're kind of like, oh crap, I don't want to do it yet because we just want to make sure it's right versus jumping in, which can hold us back. But there's opportunity there for sure.
It's actually something that in my position in the transaction with how I wanted to get away from a situation where realtors were sending me deals and I was like just not reciprocating anything. It just feels gross. And that's just how the transaction typically goes. Now you can buy leads with people, you can do some different things like that. But like, I want to be able to authentically like hang out with the two of you and understand that the relationship came from a business and that we can have the relationships that we have as friends, but we can always be mindful of that business. And so I just was like, how can I generate direct to business me? And that's kind of what all this is about.
Yeah.
But it's how exactly I'm going to track it is like everything else I do by vibes. And it seems to, you know what I mean? Like you're sitting here right now. I mean, this is like the coolest one of these that I've done.
It is.
And I mean, so like, is there anything that Reagan that you would like to say as we wind up that is going to come across really well, like on a TikTok?
No.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Scott?
That could be a TikTok. No.
All right. Okay. Well, this is. I guess we're done.
No. I just. So what's the question?
Oh, is there anything that you want to say?
Okay.
That is to wrap up. That's going to sound great on a TikTok.
It's a lot of pressure.
How many seconds do we have?
I don't know. 90 seconds.
Is a 30 second
seconds.
TikTok? Okay. On a TikTok. Okay. If we're saying something, I would say that if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you have 3 incredibly talented people that are sitting on this place in this lounge right now. But what I would say too is that having guidance and someone experienced in your corner, you cannot you can't quantify what that is just strictly in a transaction because the things that we can do for you behind the scenes, but also help you get to the closing table, and also afterwards having a relationship like you were saying, just having people that you can lean on even after you're done. I think that's what I look forward to as well. And so I think if you're out there looking and are needing some guidance and are feeling like, hey, this could be my right time, you have 3 incredibly talented people here that can get it done. Yeah, no, and now I have something I got to say. I mean, there are thousands of great realtors and great lenders in this city that can like get you through a transaction like safely and soundly, but we're all individuals and we're all people, and it's just one of those things where it's matchups and just get to know people and talk to people. So anyway, I don't know. Danny, I appreciate it. I think we're going to be able to get Reagan off to her showing or
Thank
whatever.
you. And
I have something real quick.
Okay.
We always say that good luck. Like it is interesting, right? Like on your showing, like when you're around a team, they say, hey, I got to go to a showing. Like, all right, good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
You hear that a lot?
Don't F it up.
Yeah, like,
right?
yeah, what does that
What would you say?
mean?
What do you say in the
I don't know,
dugout if
because
you're like going
exactly,
because what are you telling them?
Yeah, they don't tell me right before I'm about to start the game, like, hey, good luck.
Oh.
Like, no.
Do they say break a leg?
No,
All right.
but it's like
Break
just
a arm?
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.